The floor is melting slow like the thousand whispers.
The residents along the West River are talking again tonight about what they call the phantom train. Witnesses in Jamaica and Townsend say they saw the outline of an old steam engine rolling across the trestle.
Reports of a ghostly woman at Weatherhead Hollow Bridge have some Vermonters looking over their shoulders tonight. WCA's Atlanta Price is live in Guilford with the story.
Nothing's what it seems in this fever dream. The clock's spin back.
You know, Vic, I was thinking about something. I think I'm going to add an additional camera to when we do investigations. And I think I'm going to get like a high 8 camera. It's an old, like 2000 style camera. I was talking to a movie director. He filmed a movie on it. It still uses a little virtual. You remember those little tapes?
Oh, yes.
But it gives a good grid. I think I want to bring it in so when we do these investigations, it gives it this like early 2000s feel on top of what we're filming with the other cameras. But it just came to me when I was seeing some of those scenes that, you know, because there's places that I've looked into now already out in your area that I definitely want to visit. And some of them are cinematically beautiful because it's Vermont. Vermont is a beautiful place if you like nature.
I found out what grave cemetery we'll go to for the Daywalkers episode. I located that. Across the street from Townsend Elementary, there's a side road.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. The day that we do the Daywalkers episode, I think that night we should do a Nightwalkers episode and head into Brattleboro and see what we can find for a couple $100.
Oh, jeez. Fuck.
But there's a conspiracy. There was a conspiracy now that Brattleboro isn't even Vermont anymore. That it's been overtaken by something else. Somebody else is in control of Brattleboro.
Doesn't surprise me.
But there's a lot of, I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of conspiracies. I mean, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
It's like, you know, right now I want to apologize to you about the movie review earlier, but it's just like stuff that's like, I can see that's reality.
I don't need to apologize. You don't need to, listen, Vic, first of all, you don't need to like the same movies I like. It's okay to be different and have a difference even in cinematic taste. I don't believe everybody's going to like the same stuff that I like or enjoy the same cinema. I've watched a lot of horror. Sometimes things get boring, so I change it up. And then I'll go back to that, and that will seem mundane because I've seen something else now that has tickled me. It wasn't that the movie was great or you know, mind-bending, but it was also something that I personally have never seen and never really witnessed and never really thought about. I always thought of it being the reverse way, without getting into all that. But no, I mean, you're entitled to all your own opinions. There's going to be guests on this show that are going to say things that I might not agree with, you might not agree with. It happens. I'm not one of those people that need a cult of people to believe in me. I mean, to believe what I believe. I just need a cult of people to believe in me or believe in us or believe in the project. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same viewpoint.
Absolutely. It's just like if the father came back from the dead for revenge, that would be like Tales of the Crypt type of feel.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
but it was just like, okay, he did that. It's like, and then you hear everything with the Epstein files and who's doing what and everything. It's just like, and the conspiracy we're going to talk about today.
Well, I mean, I think that's the number one conspiracy now you got going on is these Epstein files been released. So all this conspiracy since 2020 or earlier, like Frazzle Drip and Pizzagate and the whole Wayfair thing, has all been brought to light because we're seeing all these words once again be used. And I mean, again, as I said on another episode, I think we talked about the word pizza is obviously code. Nobody talks about it the way they do in such peculiar ways. I don't know what else it means besides that. I've read and heard speculation that it means drugs and this and that, but then I've heard a lot of things that just means young kids, girls, children, women, whatever, and different types, you know, of nationality depending on toppings and so forth and so on. But then, you know, you hear other stories that people are eating each other. You got cannibalism. You got all this stuff that's coming to light.
Yep.
But the problem is the conspiracy theorists are having a little bit of trouble with it because the people that they were thinking that were the good guy are also the bad guy too. It's not a one-side thing. This is not a Republican or Democrat thing. This is, a society thing. There's a society above our society that is doing whatever the fuck they want. If that's the case,
It's like the kid. It's like the game you play with as a kid. You have one kid pulling like a rubber band or something, the other one pulls the same side, and then suddenly someone lets go and it hits you in the face. You won, but it hits you in the face. That's what these conspiracy theorists are fucking going nuts about, because they believe they want to say all this for like clicks or whatever, and then when reality hits them in the face, they're just like,
well, I'll be honest with you. I think that a lot of people believed, and this was going back to his first run, that when Trump came into office, that he was going to go in there and try all these people for crime. He was going to try Hillary Clinton. He's going to try Obama for treason. He was going to do all this stuff and take down and clean the swamp, as he so called it. Do all of this, and none of it really happened. But then you hear things that are weird. You hear that in 2021, the Joe Biden that we knew before was executed by a firing squad. And the Joe Biden that we were given as a president was somebody totally different. And a different actor. And we've heard about the people being actors for years. We've seen movies, we've seen shows on TV where they've literally ripped off a face to show another face.
yeah.
Hollywood magic is really powerful, and imagine even richer people having the access and technology. It's like they can do whatever.
It's like a Daywalkers episode. It's like to disprove Hollywood magic, and say like, look, during the daytimes, this shit happens too.
Nice. Well, yes, it's just cinematically it wouldn't make sense. Except, like I said, though, I mean, Night of the Living Dead did start at the daytime. It was day. They were out there in the day.
Yeah.
Halloween, the movie, started in the day. Michael started his killings in the daytime. He didn't wait till Halloween night. He was already stalking her by morning.
I think he killed her during the night.
Killed her during the night, but he was already stalking her by morning. He was already watching her in school. He was already, when she was in class, he was at the, already doing things.
This is the grown-up Michael Myers or the kid?
No, the grown-up. I'm talking about the first
kid.
movie.
The kid, killed his sister at night.
Yeah, at night, but that was Halloween night, and it's Halloween. But the movie itself, when Michael returns to Haddonfield, he doesn't just wait tonight to come out. He starts already stalking her in the daytime.
Yeah.
He's already at the school. He's already fallen when they're walking home. He's already done some kills. He's already killed the guy on the way. If he had gotten a hold of everybody, he might have killed them all in the day. It wasn't so much about waiting for night. Night just makes it scary because at night everything is intensified. People's emotions play up. People, even like if you ever notice when you're sick or have a cold or a fever or whatever it is, you always feel like more shit at night. It's the same kind of effect. So they use that, and they know that night's more of a tale. Yeah. More of a tale. But those are like the popular ones. I'll be honest. I took off on a very good conspiracy on TikTok. It's a parody page, but I got down the rabbit hole of flat Earth, and I ended up talking to all these known flat Earthers like this kid Caleb and all these people. And I made some funny jokes and asked questions. I wouldn't say it's a mockery, but I asked questions. Imagine we lived in a world that actually, this and that. And I started to gain traction. So I started to go through these flat Earth Facebook pages and see what everybody was talking about. And there was, tons of furry people calling each other names. It wasn't your typical shit, though. Now, this is why I enjoyed it. Because if you have been in a wrestling chat rooms, you've been in other chat rooms, and you've debated with people, you say your opinion, the first thing they call you is a pedophile or something like that. They start talking about your family, you fuck your mother, all this shit. This was not happening there. The worst thing they were calling each other was retard. Okay, but at the end of it, most of it was just, you're a flurf, you believe in flat Earth, you're a fucking earthy, you're a global, you're a globie, you're a drone. It didn't escalate to the degree of.
Here we go. You ready for ball busting time?
Zul's here.
I was sitting in the other studio for like 15 minutes going, where are they?
The old studio. Shit.
Yeah, I clicked the wrong damn link, I guess.
Oh, no worries.
I didn't see the new one.
We were just
here I
talking
am.
about we were just talking conspiracies, and I was talking about a couple of years ago. I went down the rabbit hole of flat Earth, and I did very well running a page on TikTok just by grabbing
Earth.
flat Earth memes from like Facebook groups and bringing it over there, and it has such a huge following. And there's so many people that just don't believe that we live in a place that we can get out into space. There are a lot of
Fair
people believe
enough.
that NASA has lied
But
all their life.
But I'm not 100% sure that it's flat.
I don't know if it's flat. I mean, the thing is if you go by the Bible, then yes, okay, we're living on, I wouldn't say flat, but we're living on a terrain that's below and above water. So we're like almost a bubble. And you're going to talk about, and I've seen some space videos, and when they go up through space and they're breaking through the atmosphere, yeah, it kind of looks like the same as somebody going through water. NASA explored both, so it makes kind of sense. I get all of that. But then it gets like deeper, like there's been some things where they've done exercises or whatever in space, and then they've realized that it's green screened and they're actually in a swimming pool on Earth. And their answer is, well, swimming pool density is this almost like space, so we do a lot of practice, and they wear their tanks under there. But then everybody's like, well, no, they're filming their space scenes underwater. There's been space scenes where, and I've just watched it, there's been space scenes, from the International Space Station where some things aren't floating. Everything else is floating, but some things are still grounded. Well, what's going on with gravity there?
I don't think the moon landing was necessarily real. But because we didn't really have the technology then.
I
don't think nobody did. I don't think we did. And I think,
But I do think it's possible. I can't fathom to think that we are on a one-dimensional surface and that we're like the only thing out there. Unless you're saying that there's not outer space, but there's outer dimensions.
Well, I mean, if we've experienced other beings, if you've seen shadow people, dark things, demons, whatever, then obviously there's another world or there's something else besides just the humans walking here. Now, I mean, there's a lot of space out there.
The flat space thing just doesn't jive well with the notion.
Well, the point of that is being that the area of Antarctica, or what we know as Antarctica, isn't really Antarctica. Antarctica would be the edge of what we know. So Antarctica actually goes around us completely. But that's not really the end of Earth. See, a lot of people believe that after Antarctica, there's this huge wall of ice that just keeps going. And then after that, there's all these other lands that have been either buried, like Atlantis, all these other things that are all around us. So we got almost this huge flat map with all these worlds in it. And it's surrounded or broken up by either ice, waters, or whatever.
I was going to say, because if Antarctica was the crust of this big flat pizza.
Yep. That's basically what they're saying.
Then if you headed due east or due west of where we are, you would hit Antarctica, and you won't. If you head due east and you just keep going due east, you'll actually wrap all the way around, because people have flown around the Earth.
You should. But people believe you won't.
So how do they come back around?
People believe because the flights don't go like that. If you look at flight paths to go to certain places, they don't do the most direct flights. They do weird roundabouts. They never go around like that. There's certain places that the planes won't fly over. It's not because there's nothing there. It's because, well, it's safety. Planes actually try to stay near coasts, if you've ever noticed. When I went to Italy, they were almost near a coast the whole time. They don't like to be over in the middle of nowhere, and there's a whole vast area of water that there's nothing. So instead of going the long way around, they go another way, or they take stops. But this gives people to ask questions. I mean, with NASA, it's hard because the image of Earth, for say, let's instance, what we know is the image of Earth. It's on Google, everything. That's not a real image. It's a composite. They've taken dozens and dozens and millions of photos, and they've had a composite of what they think it would look like because they don't have an actual image. If you zoom in, you can see cloud patterns are copied and pasted.
I mean, it wasn't too long ago they even admitted, NASA even admitted that the pictures they show from the telescopes and all the colors and wonders, the colors are just like fucking colorized. They don't have no.
But yes, I mean, I know, and when I remember being in school, we saw, we would go out
It
with
is
the
an interesting
telescope.
concept. If there were outer space, hypothetically, there's outer space. You go out to outer space. Does color still apply? Does it still look the same?
Well, yes, I think the universal laws still apply within the universe.
But the light is different, and color is a reflection of light.
Well, yes, I mean, I believe if you're on a different planet with a different sun, you're going to see something different. Everything on Mars looks red, so you're going to have almost a white, like a red freaking lens on.
Yeah, I was going to say color would be much different.
So maybe there really is no green men. There's just people that lived on green planets.
Maybe.
But, with that being said, and the technology all of a sudden being lost on the moon landing and people not knowing how to, get it back, and then the gap in between going from A to B, it's like there's so much to explore. You got people, billionaires, talking about going to Mars, and yet we haven't only been to the moon once and landed. It's like... And I do believe that we were in a race. Let's see who does it first.
And we were losing, or so we thought.
We were losing. and so we just did what we did best.
We're a Hollywood nation. We're great at that. So we thought we can film this. I believe that the moon landing, the original moon landing, quite possibly a total fake. I really do believe that.
You think Stanley Kubrick was the one that directed it? A lot of people say Stanley did it, and
maybe
he said it in the end.
It would have been a very early film for him, wouldn't it?
It was out. It would have been out. Yes, but he had the. Because look what he did with 2001.
Maybe.
He had the mindset for it.
There would be a definite disclosure notice on that. He wouldn't be able to tell us if he did.
I believe some people say he said it when his dying words. Some people say it was his dying words.
You take this shit to the grave.
That's the whole thing with flat Earth, and then it gets into deeper stuff that there was an older civilization that got buried away, and they had all these wonders, and a lot of the wonders are like free energy.
I believe there were definitely ancient civilizations that were far more advanced than we know or can completely.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look a lot of the structures and the old structures, they were built in a way that would harmonize and harvest energy through sound and chambers and all this electromagnetics and such, and even Tesla coils.
Ancient batteries, the Egyptian battery that they found.
Yeah, they had all of that
shit like that. Yeah, I definitely believe that there were advancements of technology beyond what we understand they had. I don't think they had the internet, but I do believe they had.
But they had advancements. They didn't want it. They were a civilization.
They were probably smart enough to know that something like this would just destroy mankind.
See, in my mind, I would figure civilizations like that would be so intellectual that they would be still intellectualizing. They'd be out there like almost a Renaissance, being people, hanging out, doing things.
Do you think everybody was intellectual, or do you think that maybe the peasants were just as prone to ignorance as they are nowadays?
I think they were, but I mean, I think ignorance isn't really, ignorance isn't a timeless thing. I think ignorance has always existed.
Yeah, definitely. That's a thing.
But we've gone through, as a human race, as itself, we've gone through periods of great intellectual times where the majority of people seem to be more intellectual at that time in history. Yes. We're putting out great art. We're making movements, scientific movements.
As a human species, yes.
As a species.
Yeah, as a species altogether. Absolutely.
And, there's other things, that you want to go back to. There's like ancient civilizations like Tartaria that people believe existed. It was just wiped by the New World because, why would we give people free energy if we could get people to pay for electricity.
So
And this
there's
and
a
that.
lot of interesting conspiracies that spiral around the whole notion of capitalism, where like if you can't if something has been invented that the inventor does not want people to capitalize on, that invention often gets squashed
There's
very
that, and I
quickly
mean,
and never
even
existed. There's a
supposedly
lot
the
of
whole
case
banking
examples of
system.
that. I know of one that has to do with the cure for cancer,
Oh
and
yeah,
Royal Raymond Rife, you can look that up,
yeah.
was a scientist who invented the modern day microscope we use to look at live viruses as they're moving, as they're alive. That same technology can be used to cure dozens of viruses, bacterial infections, and diseases like cancer. It causes cells to oscillate at a frequency that they self-destruct without destroying surrounding cells. And I did a term paper on it in college, so that's why I'm nerdy about it. But his lab, his work, he wouldn't sell it to the AMA. And because he wouldn't sell out, because he knew that because this technology costed pennies of electricity, and they were going to capitalize on that and charge people buku bucks for these cures, and they were going to sweep a lot of it under the rug because they don't want everything to be cured by one thing. That would kill big pharma,
Yeah.
pharma. So we don't want to kill big pharma. That's our cash cow. So since they couldn't buy it out from him and sweep most of it under the rug, they burnt down his laboratory. All of it, they destroyed his reputation. He
Oh
died
yeah.
like a penniless drunkard as a result of the destruction they wreaked upon his life in order to keep that from becoming a thing.
Was he on the Epstein's list? Was he on the Epstein's list?
He was much too far, I think, far too far back in time.
Okay, I just want to make sure of that.
I don't know. I mean,
don't quote me for
Fidel
sure
Castro there.
on the time frame, but I want to say like 50s, the 1950s.
I just want
No, but it goes back like, for instance, they say that J.P. Morgan was supposed to be on the so-called Titanic. He decided to pull off last minute. All his competitors were on that ship, though, and the whole ship sank.
That's wild. I never heard that conspiracy,
we have a centralized bank.
That's fascinating.
What about 9/11? The guy who owned the towers always had breakfast top of the second tower every morning, and the only morning he didn't have breakfast was the day that the airplanes went through.
Wow.
It was like that he just cashed in the insurance.
Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of
there's a lot of conspiracy theories about 9/11. A lot.
And now things are coming out even in the
there are
why,
certainly
there was emails between people
There's
talking about it before it
that.
happening, going, hey, what about the Twin Towers? And is this drawing speculation more and more? Was it an inside job?
Yeah.
And now it would go back to this. If we're going to talk about the government faking a moon landing,
how far would they go?
They could easily fake a terrorist attack.
How far would they go? Would they kill us? And that's been proven. Would they kill us?
Did they? Yeah. I mean, supposedly somebody died when Trump got shot in the air, but we never heard who that person was or had any mourning for that person that died or anything.
None. Yeah. Just for shits and giggles, though, and I want Zool to answer this question first because ladies first. Where were you when the planes hit the Twin Towers?
So I lived in, I just moved to Ohio like a year before that. I was pregnant with my first child. I was at home in bed asleep, and my husband came home, woke me up and said, we're under attack, and turned on the TV as the second plane hit the second tower, just as that happened. And I was like, what are we watching? I thought it was like a movie or something. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he told me what happened. And then he quickly went to his friend's house across the street. And I couldn't go over there because they were burning stuff in their wood burner and I'm pregnant. So I had to stay home and I was by myself. miles, 1,000 miles away from everything I'd ever known, looking at the peri-nuclear power plant towers because I could see them from our yard. And I hadn't lived near nuclear power. And growing up in Nebraska, there's no nuclear power out there. And I hadn't grown up anywhere near nuclear power plant towers. And that terrified me. Those twin towers that I'm staring at with the smoke coming out of them terrified the shit out of me on 9/11 because I was certain they were going to be a potential target for.
No, I get that. I think there was a certain point.
Yeah. Where were you, Versace?
Everybody thought, being me in Boston, I was like, shit, we could be a target. They came from here. And it was weird because I was working at Blockbuster at the time and working at Papagino's, which was conveniently next door, because I'd get a free meal out of them and then I could go do my night shift next door.
Oh, yeah.
And one day we're just working a couple days after 9/11. Fucking 3-4 dudes in suits come in, shut the doors, and literally start interviewing us on the spot. They were CIA and FBI, and we would have been delivering pizzas to the terrorists for like a week or so. And they love pizza. And if you look it up, they love fucking American pizza. And it happened to be our fucking place that was delivering it to these guys.
Crazy.
And we just got all questioned.
That's
We all
6
got
degrees
questioned.
of separation. Have you ever heard of that theory? That we're all 6 degrees of separation apart? Like if you were to hand somebody a note, a rando on the street, if I were to hand a rando a note on the street and said, get this to Versace Stoner, it should get to you within 6 people, within 6 exchanges.
It could. It was pretty wild. I mean, because later on down the line, much later, we had the marathon bombing, and like even one of those brothers I had like crossed paths with at a boxing, and I used to box. He used to box. It's like
Boston has quite the history of violence.
Well, that was scary because that was right in my town. I woke up that morning at 5 a.m. to gunshots being heard through the streets because the cops were shooting.
That's scary shit. Scary shit, man. I hadn't experienced growing up in Nebraska. I hadn't experienced a lot of big city scary shit until I moved to just outside of Cleveland. Then when you live in some of the suburbs of Cleveland, there's rougher suburbs, there's nicer suburbs. Some of the Cleveland suburbs that are more affordable to live in are a little rough. So that was my first experience with urban life and gunshots being a regular thing that you wouldn't even flinch, that you would just be like, oh yeah, it's probably just a shooting. It's not happening to me.
So I mean, it's not East LA we're living in here. If you lived in a gang neighborhoods and such, I guess you get used to hearing the guns and the violence and the sirens. But when you're not, it's kind of terrifying, especially because, where are they going with these guns? What are they going to do with them? Are they going house to house? What is happening here? And we're on lockdown. We're not able to leave. Everyone's got to stay in place. So it was a terrible day. We went to work. Then we had to stay in place. We had to do all this shit. And they finally caught the kid. But it was just a long day of being locked in, locked up, locked out, not knowing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's yeah.
Because they were searching street by street, so they wanted everybody in place, and then they were like, okay, we think he's left. They let everybody go out for a little bit, then all of a sudden we got to stay in place orders again.
That's bananas. What a wild experience. What a weird memory to have in your bank of memories.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know the marathon bombing, to everybody is something different, but the people in Boston, the people in this town, it's a little bit more because I know where they were setting up, on news, they were showing all this stuff. And it's like, there's the mall I hang out at. It's now filled with police officers, thousands of them. Yeah. Everything has been militarized. I know the cops that were involved in, the firing process. I went and seen the house the next day where those bullet holes are riddled because they had a shootout. I go to these places. I live in this town. So it was really really close.
Yeah, that's insane. That would be a little too close for comfort. So,
but there's a lot of things that people say, and that's another conspiracy. Are all these shootings and all these mass shootings real, or are they just kind of ways to push an agenda? Because you hear about such things as crisis actors, and you see the same faces over and over again on TV, And how do these people get into 5 or 6
I think
situations?
we also just look for, I think that similarly to the theory that we always look for faces, we look for familiarity as well.
Well, I mean,
I think that a lot of people look similar. We all have doppelgangers.
well, don't you
We all
think,
have people that look like
outside of
us.
the doppelganger effect, I mean, isn't it quite possible with all the millions of people on this planet, billions really, that there's not people that look alike?
Fair enough, but you were
That
there
we will
for some
never
of these
see because
experiences.
we don't know them. We will never run into them.
Yeah.
So you're
Right.
telling me there's going to be a handsome devil that looks exactly like me out there getting all the
Come on.
women, and here I am just twiddling my thumbs?
He's probably living his best life, man. What can we
Jeez.
say?
He
My
holding
uncle
it
swears
in
that I am still in Nebraska. Every now and then he sees
But put
me
it
in the
this way,
grocery
Vic,
store. I'm
you're-
not there.
But also, Vic, put it this way: you're a bald guy, right? There's a lot of bald people, so a lot of people watching TV could easily mistake you for another bald guy and be like, "Hey, that's
Look
the
like
same
somebody I
guy
went
that
to
was
high
over
school with."
there." Yeah, and that's what happens, I think. People see people that look alike. And you're right, we want to know familiarity and such.
So then we love conspiracy. We love conspiracy.
We do,
We
that's
want
the
there
thing.
to
We
be
love
more
to
to the
play games with
story.
it.
So even if they tell us the whole story, which they never tell us the whole story, but if they did, we
We
would
still
still
won't
add
believe
to
it.
it. We would elaborate on it. That's
But
our
see, now
nature.
we've gotten to a point that they tell us or show us the story, we're just going to be like, it's AI, it's not real.
Oh, everything's not real. Fake news. Fake news.
Also, everyone knows how to manipulate and twist words that we learn in the wrestling
The
business.
birds aren't real. They're robots.
It's like, they twist words, so it's like, yes, if you take that word by definition, there it is, but is that the truth?
Yeah.
That's a totally different
There's
two-sided.
a sense of truth too. You're right. Some of us have a better sense of truth than others. I tend to be easily duped because I want to believe people at face value initially until I have reason and evidence.
You've never been a wrestling fan. You've never been in the wrestling. Once you go to the
I
wrestling world,
love
you learn
wrestling.
that
I love wrestling, but I buy the story. I'm into the story.
Loving the
and I
wrestling
buy
is
it.
fine. Working behind the scenes is when the issue arises, and that's when you realize there is no face value. There's no friends, everybody, nothing. That doesn't mean shit.
That's terrible.
It's
That's
horrible.
terrible.
It's heartbreaking. Why you think we're talking paranormal and not wrestling anymore?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I did kind of wonder about that. I was like, why aren't we talking about wrestling and meeting wrestlers? Because I would be down for that too. I do love wrestling. I don't watch. I'm not as big of a fan as my boyfriend is. He watches it religiously on Mondays. He watches Raw, but I sometimes will certain wrestlers I like that I'll sit and watch.
I did a lot with the independent scene. I mostly kept it there. So the independent, that's a plaque. He's won. Rick Musket, he's won in Finland.
What did you kill?
Because back in those days, I knew that the WWE market, AEW market, was oversaturated. So I started interviewing people from other countries.
Nice.
And bring them in like that, and did extremely well.
But it's great because
cool.
even some of the kids, a lot of the kids that I've interviewed, when they were kids, are now entering WWE, or going to other promotions, or getting there. But just working with it and working around it and getting to know people and getting yourself in there was very the ending wasn't so fun.
But the slam wrestling, that was, I don't mean to tilt the subject a little bit, that was great. When we talked to someone and said there was a conspiracy behind the scenes, and then someone else jumped in, and the fucking owner and heavyweight champion jumped in, and ran with it.
That was one of my favorite things that happened.
That was cool.
We had a great interview with the owner.
With it. And I was just like, okay, cool. We talked to the referee involved and shit. That was great.
Nice.
I'll be right back. My wife keeps calling. I think my kid needs me. I will be back.
Okay.
You'll be back, but but no, it's just kind of I never believe in flat Earth. I never believe,
Fair enough. Me neither. I was having a hard time with flat Earth because I'm like, it makes me want to giggle. But I also
you hear about the moon landing. And
I
about
do.
how that's
I
fake.
do
It's like
agree about the moon landing.
That's fake.
But I think we have the technology now to do grand things like go into outer space. I think we have that technology now, but I don't think we had it then. Because now we have satellites out there everywhere. And that's another question. How do they avoid the satellites? If there are so many satellites, there has to be,
out there. It's like
obviously
you go
there's a map.
there should be all this debris and shit like that that's out there. Because it's like, there can't be like satellites up there that's like great successes. There has to be a bunch of failures out there. Just like dead satellites.
I'm sure there's hundreds upon thousands of just dead junk satellites floating around out there that are decades old and that we put up there in 1998.
Like
they just quit working. They've been up there for like 25 years and they don't work anymore and they're just floating around falling apart and going to hell. And
I really do
believe space junk. There's definitely space junk. I bet if you had a telescope, and that's the thing too, if you have a good telescope, you can actually see some of the planetary shapes and so forth. And I mean, you can't see them clearly like they do with like the Hubble. But it's hard to believe that it doesn't exist. It clearly exists.
But it's getting to a point where it's like, if you haven't seen it yourself, how do you know it's real? It's like you see the stuff like in Minnesota and ice and all that. How do you know that's actually real? Because I look at that and say, like, you're telling me
because people are reporting it. Because people are reporting it. People like you and me with cell phones that are live streaming like we are right now.
Yeah, but the stories that hit the news, you tell me there's no side, stories or whatever that never hit the news, never caught the media attention.
Of course there are. Hundreds upon thousands of people's eyewitness accounts of what's going down that they have live streamed, that they have filmed, that they have taken to the authorities, that have been confiscated, you name it. There's way more happening than we're aware of, but we're aware of a whole lot more now than we used to be able to be aware of. Do you know what I'm saying?
But when the height
of says we need aluminum foil. One of our viewers says we need some aluminum foil for this chat.
I tried. Hannaford's was closed before this recording. But it's just like they also the Epstein files, dropped and all that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, so what happened to Minnesota? Minnesota just fucking had a peace agreement. That's it.
It's still happening. It's
still happening. But
they're always pulling that. Look over here at what the right hand's doing while the left hand's fucking jerking off. Like they're always doing some sort of shit where they're trying to distract you with what's going on over here, while other shit's still taking place over there. And only truly like flat-lined people would believe that that's just stopped and that it's not continuing to take place. There's still witness accounts coming forth from Minnesota. The thing is, it is, I think, and I could be wrong, that it may be dying down, that it's because they're spreading out the ice raids. They're pulling some of those agents and sending them to other cities in the United States as well. Of course, they're hiring a bunch more as well.
Portland, Maine, and when they hit Portland, Maine, it was just like you heard they were hitting Portland, Maine, but you didn't hear any like issues, violence, anything like that. And trust me, when I lived in Portland, Maine, there was a lot of Somalians living in Portland.
Yeah.
So
our viewer Jeff Reed says proof that our media is ultra filtered, which is why TikTok was bought and sold.
Probably, yeah. Our media is ultra filtered. they're making us watch what they want
course
a
they are.
reaction. It's
Of
like
course.
it's like
That's what sells. Nobody wants to watch peaceful protests. Nobody wants to watch peaceful protests. Nobody wants to watch that. There's probably a million more peaceful protests going on than we're made aware of. I know that there are several dozen happening right here in Ohio. So I know that there's peaceful protests that take place that the media never picks up. The media is not interested in that. What they're interested in is violence. Violence sells. Sex sells. Controversy sells. Conspiracy sells. That's what they're looking for. That's what people want to watch. We are the rubberneckers of the world. We love watching it all burn down. We love watching that. And maybe there's something intricately wrong with our society in that we love that, but
yeah.
I would be a liar to say that I don't particularly enjoy it, because I do enjoy watching a train wreck. I watch murder shows. I watch horror movies. I watch, the worst of the worst, and love every minute of it. So, because that's what we eat up.
Yeah. But the difference between horror movies and like what's going on in the news, horror movies, if you see like, Uncle Jed getting his head chopped off,
it's not really happening.
If I someone has seen that and like, oh my God, I would be like, no, you see, you take the remote, you see, rewind, Uncle Jed's alive, Uncle Jed's dead, Uncle Jed's alive, Uncle Jed's dead. You see, he's alive. It's okay.
It's all pretensies. Yeah, there's definitely a significant difference in the morality of it. But as far as to what we want and what we watch, that's what we want and that's what we watch.
It's like
they wouldn't sell a show to you that was full of
said, like conflict makes cash. It's just like, yeah, conflict makes cash, but it feels like social media is just like God above, and when we react to it, it's like our energy's going up there.
We have huge egos, all of us, and we're fed by that to differing degrees, of course. But a lot of us are fed by that need for the attention, the need for the likes, the need for the views, the need for the validation that comes with other people engaging with you on that level in a mass society format. It's addictive. There are people who are addicted to the internet, who can't get off, who are there all day long and spend their whole lives live streaming everything they do.
It's better than be on Pornhub all day.
There are people who do that. I need to find those people. No. I'm not on Pornhub. That didn't happen.
Jeffrey says, I'm so glad I'm ugly. You're not ugly, Jeffrey. Come on. Everyone has
I have met this person in person. He's not ugly.
I mean, everyone is beautiful in their own way. I mean, just everyone has energy that's pure. It's beautiful. It's just misguided sometimes,
or misdesigned, or not hitting their mark with their fashion choices or something. Everybody has their own unique look, and it's more that's one thing I do like about modern society, is that is more celebrated, the uniqueness of each of us as individuals, and being able to dress the way you want and be who you really feel most comfortable being inside on your outside.
I agree.
That's really cool. And there's still, a conservative drive against that makes we want to be all more conformative. But there's a big push in society for, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to embrace everybody's unique individuality. And I think that's pretty cool. That's one thing we're heading in the right direction with.
Are you calling me beautiful? Jeff, you want me to call you ugly? You want me to call you a piece of shit? What do you want me to call you?
Just don't call me.
Just want me to call you. I mean, like, call you daddy? I mean, just tell me no, man. I appreciate
Call
you
him
watching that.
Who's calling you daddy?
I mean, cheers to you, sir. I mean, it's just, I'm in a decent mood today. Had a rough day, but I'm in a decent mood tonight.
Good, good.
So all the stuff you hear about, you know, like there's a conspiracy theory about Hillary Clinton wearing the face of a little girl during a satanic, you know. Have you heard about this?
No, this is news to me.
Okay, let's get the video up. Okay, wait a second.
There's a video.
There's a video of an eyewitness account.
Interesting.
This is one of
Is this one of the Epstein file things?
No, this we talked about this before. Jeffrey, don't threaten me with a good time. I buy drinks. I buy drinks first, big boy. You buy dinner. But anyways, no, we mentioned this before. Even the Epstein file. We've talked about these conspiracy theories before. We talked about the elite. We talked about, you know, even when Epstein's Island came out, it's talked about, you know, what we're hearing on the media is just surface of it all.
Of course. Absolutely. That is a cesspool that I'm not even certain we want to dive into, because what we would find in there would be gross. And you're going to find people you would least suspect in that cesspool. You're going to find people that you idolize in that cesspool. Nobody's hands are completely clean.
I think Diddy parties kind of like, you know, kind of make people step back and like, wait a second, these people aren't just. And the Diddy parties, I believe, were just, you know, majority of it was just like freak shows. It was just like, you know,
right.
Parties. It was like, wasn't that? But people still looked at like LeBron
kind of cross-eyed. Yeah.
Cross-eyed, yeah.
The reason we can laugh about it is because it was, as far as I understand. Now, I didn't dive into the Diddy pool cesspool party. So I could be wrong, but my understanding of it was mostly consenting adults. It was just seedy as fuck. And a lot of those adults may have not been so consenting. Oh, we have something going on in the trailer park. The fire truck just went by. Did you see that shit behind me?
No, I didn't.
Oh, holy cow. That won't be good. Can't have a fire in the trailer park. We'll all go up.
If you disappear suddenly, I know why.
Yeah, I had to run.
Let me show you this clip right now.
Hello, Cast and Blast. Welcome.
Welcome, man.
Send it to me. I would not advise you to have a look at it. She and her spokeswoman, they put a 5-year-old girl naked on a table, bind it, and then with a scalpel they start to remove the face.
Oh my God.
And you hear this child screaming, and they take off the face, and Hillary Clinton puts it on her face and goes to the child. And you see, the child is all flesh, and then the eyes pour out, and this child sees her own face on the face of Clinton. I will never forget that image, and never the scream. That's how evil these people are.
I know that for a fact, and I'm going to tell you what that child is. The face that you seen, the image at the end, is a little girl in India who got a braid caught in a like a lawnmower, and it ripped her face off. That was the first face transplant surgery that was successfully done. This comes from my nursing research. I actually did a project on facial transplantation because it can be done. It's a very delicate procedure, and it's been done for like burn victims and things like that. But she was the first successful, like reconnecting the nerves and being able to like actually put her face back on her. So I know that that's not that child's face. I know that. But that is a horrifying account. And I would have some questions for that woman. I would want to know more about the woman that was being interviewed. Not saying I don't believe it, because there's some horrifying things that happen, and they're probably so horrifying they're unmentionable. things like that. But I would want to know more about her. Does she have mental illness? Was she part of a cult?
Yeah, that's the thing.
How is she there?
Absolutely. It's like you have to ask those questions. I mean, you have to debunk it. I mean, no matter how horrifying it sounds, that you should be like, oh my God. It's like, this is the facts.
The Wayfair human trafficking. That's an interesting conspiracy right there. Do you think Wayfair has a hand in trafficking children? Because they name their furniture after some of the furniture has been noted to be named uniquely after some of the missing children in the United States.
Sasha brought this up before. He said, like, there was like a fucking ad he saw that was like for like $85,000 or $8,500. You get this crate, and it's just like he felt like ordering the crate to see if a kid was in there or not.
I want the Johnny. I want the Johnny desk. I want to see if Johnny comes in the box. Schrodinger's cat.
Surprise.
And
then you get like Johnny Lynn from China. It's like, what are you supposed to do with them?
What do you do if you order a $8,700 sofa and what you get is a Sophia? What do you do? Do you return that? Do they have a return policy for this?
I mean,
you accidentally ordered a small child you did not intend to. Like, you just turn them into CPS?
I mean, from everyone's turning their like head around, just now acknowledging about, hey, we might have a really severe pedophilia problem in this country.
We do.
It's like if I get a Chinese kid, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with it? I'm in America. I'm supposed to do what to it? I'm not that desperate, dude. You want to go to McDonald's or something? You want to be my kids? I don't.
The curiosity is killing me about where these fire trucks are going. I want to make sure it's not like 2 trailers down or something. Can I step out for a moment?
You should take your camera and see if you can, give us a live view.
If I were doing this on my cell phone, I would.
Oh, you can hear it.
I'm doing it on my computer. Let's see if I can switch to cell phone.
I guess if you don't, I got some videos right here of more conspiracy theories to share with everyone, and I just go down the list. I am fully prepared tonight, at least.
Let's see if I can connect. There'll be 2 of me for a moment, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jeffrey mentioned the pizza party. I've heard about the pizza party before, and the cheese and like the pepper. It's like, did people use like logic and lingo that was like so easy?
I'm here. All right, we're gonna
go look at a fire.
I'm gonna go look at a fire. Here we go.
Away we go. We're gonna see where these fire trucks are at.
Definitely see some lightish going on. Oh my God. Oh my God, we just lost Zool. Holy shit.
It looked like they went down and around the corner.
For a second, I thought it was the red light was the demon. They captured you and you disappeared, and I was like scared.
Yes. It was me. They've captured me. It turned out it was the Ghostbusters. It's around the corner. Wow.
Crazy.
Fires at a trailer park are scary.
All right, let's go. Switch around. Boom.
Back to just one me.
Yep.
I had a doppelganger for a minute. She had to go outside and get possessed by the red light.
Then I'm sure
drawn to the red light again. kind of the morbid curiosity of where is this happening and what's going on. Everybody wants to look. So
I'm sure in some guys' fantasies that who's watching right now, two Zools, twins,
two Zools and a fire.
two Zools in the fire, I mean, two Zools set in the fire, It's like set in the fire, so you can go out there. There's like Zools with horns and they tail. It's like, I'll be like, nope.
The arson show. We're shutting this down because this looks like criminal evidence.
Another conspiracy that kind of like came across my not too long ago. Michael Jackson with his Neverland.
Oh.
People are starting to say that he's created Neverland to prevent kids going to Epstein's Island.
I have heard that recently.
And it wasn't like anything sexual. It was just.
I've heard he's in the Epstein files because he went to Epstein's Island. He witnessed some shit, and he didn't like what he witnessed, so he created Neverland. That was the story I heard. Was that it was kind of his antithesis to Epstein's Island, was trying to save some of the kids from winding up in the wrong hands. I kind of believe that of Michael Jackson. I think he was very misunderstood. There were jokes about him and he was accused of some things, but he was proven innocent.
With anyone, you drug anyone up, they'll just be like, huh? And you're like, oh, he did this, and they're not going to care. They got money. They're not going to jail. It's like, huh? Okay, whatever. Hey, did he die of a drug overdose?
He died of a overdose of an anesthesia that he used to sleep. He would take it's basically Versed, but he was getting big doses because you develop a tolerance to it if you do it all the time. And he had trouble sleeping on his own, and he would be anesthetized to sleep. So what most people do for surgery, he was doing to go to sleep every night. And they did a little too much. And now we don't have Michael Jackson anymore. Because he lived some kind of horrifying experience in his life that was so bad he couldn't sleep. Couldn't sleep at night. And no amount of sleeping drugs seemed to work for him, so.
Do you think he was killed? Do you think it was intentionally?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of the better celebrities who know things and before they can speak out, I think things happen to them. Keep them silent. Right up to killing them to keep them silent.
It's a shame.
That happens. What do you think happened to Natalie Wood? Did you hear about that story?
Set the age.
Fell off the boat. And Christopher Walken was there.
I did not.
You haven't heard about that story?
No.
Yeah. Natalie Wood drowned. But there was a whole conspiracy behind whether or not she actually drowned or if she was murdered and then thrown overboard.
That's like Epstein's. Like the autopsy report says he was strangled, but we still believe he hung himself.
So Jeff Reed's input on Michael Jackson is he created Neverland because his dad never let him be a kid. I believe that was a big part of it. I believe that he wanted a safe place for kids to be kids. And he wanted to be a child himself. And I can relate to that. Anybody who's had a bad childhood and missed out on being a child, you grow up kind of a little damaged. And when you have the opportunity to play as an adult, it's like being a kid for the first time.
Right.
It's exhilarating. And so like the dressing up that I do and the being other characters, all that fun shit is me reliving a childhood I didn't get to have. So I can totally understand why Michael Jackson would have built Neverland to.
I mean, do I believe Michael Jackson was all mentally there? Of course not. I mean, who is these days? I mean, Jesus Christ. But it's just when you're not all there, how much is it to you? How far are you out there to it actually hurts
Yeah.
people?
I think I was going to say there's a difference between
I mean, if you go out on the street,
being crazy and hurting somebody and just being crazy. I
mean,
think,
if
he
you
was
go-
probably
if you go on the
mentally
street-
ill.
If you go out there and get you some drugs or whatever on the street corner or whatever like that, that's hurting yourself. That's whatever. That's a you problem. But you're not hurting others.
I would say when you do drugs yourself, there's somebody that loves everybody. Your mother loves you. Your father loves you. Your neighbor loves you. The guy who sees you every day at the convenience store that you buy cigarettes from cares about you. If you die because you did something stupid like bad drugs, you didn't just hurt yourself. You left a dent and a hole in the lives of others. You hurt others.
Right, but it's like, if you have a bad thing of coke, it's not like, you know that you have a gun in your head. You know you're about to die. Sometimes.
But you know you're taking a risk. You know you're spinning the barrel. You know you're playing Russian roulette.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is like. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I had a case of E. coli because I had a steak sandwich at a restaurant. I mean, it's just like when it's time where fucking it's like.
Yeah. Crazy shit happens. Life is very delicate. And it's wild to me. What's really wild to me is the things we can survive as human beings and the things that kill us and how imbalanced that is. You could fall down your porch steps tomorrow and break your neck and die. 3 steps and you're dead. But you could fall from a fucking airplane and survive with a dozen broken bones.
I was like, you might be
in the middle of Africa.
Yeah.
Because people have done that. People have survived and overcome the odds so many times that we have whole shows about it, and we talk about it, and we know everybody knows somebody who's survived something insane that they should have died from. I should have died like 3 times in my life already, and here I am, and yet there are people who are gone.
I know someone that
who died of much simpler things. People who, I had pancreatitis for 3 years and was sick, and every time, that's something that can kill you. And I got sick every 2 to 3 weeks and was in the hospital with it. And then I have a friend whose husband got it one night and he was gone. So what's the difference between me and him? I don't know. I guess I wasn't done. Here I am.
a good friend of the family is, he went off the road one night, freezing cold in southern Vermont, and went underwater. And his car was like upside down in the water. He was underwater for 17 minutes.
Holy shit!
And when they pulled him out, they were able to resuscitate. Resuscitate him. And he's a little brain damage from it, but they said if the water wasn't below freezing, they wouldn't have survived.
Wow, that's crazy. We were just talking about that the other day. How, my daughter had brought up how they're cryogenically freezing pets now, so that you can bring your pet back in the future when they have the medical advancements to treat whatever's wrong with your pet that we can't treat right now. So we were talking about the ethics of that. Is it ethical to freeze dry your dog? And if you could do that to Grandpa, would you freeze dry Grandpa as well? Would you do it?
To do what? This makes it sound like it's like the Empire Strikes Back, and you have Han Solo and the fucking freezing thing. Like, it's like, what? There's Grandpa right there, frozen.
You're not ready to lose Grandpa, so you freeze dry him, and you bring him back when they have the cure to his testicular cancer, stage 12, that he's dying from, or whatever it is that he's dying from, that we don't have the advancements to treat right now or to cure. You freeze dry them and you bring them back when we can. But would that be ethical? With people, I feel like it would be ethical because they can consent. They can be like, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm totally going to come back in 45 years when everyone I know and love is probably already dead, and just I'm down for the adventure of what will be.
People don't
But
think
an animal can't consent. So your animal would just be massively confused.
People don't think of that. They just like, I don't want to be frozen or whatever like that. They don't think about, yeah, it's great, but your son or daughter might be fucking like old and frail. It's like, they're not free frozen. You are.
Great granddaughter is the one who thaws you out, and she's 100 years old, and that's when they figured out how to treat your disease. She don't even know you or like you.
But
we're just left to her in the will. And in my will, I passed down Grandpa's frozen body.
It's like that Disney movie, Buzz Lightyear. He kept on trying. Everyone else in his planet, got older but he didn't age at all because he's up there, and everyone started dying. And it's like sad, but it's like, yeah, that's the price. You know the chances. You knew the risk.
Right. Well, but that's the difference. We have this great consciousness with which we can make informed decisions with. How do we impress an informed decision upon an animal that we don't speak their language? How do you know that your cat wants to be frozen and come back?
Yeah, it's fucking.
I'm not sure that it's ethical to do to animals or children. Or like children that aren't old enough to consent to that anyway. If you're like 12 and you're dying of leukemia, I can totally see the draw behind,
Well, it's like my ex-wife
freeze-drying that kid and like bringing them back when we have the cure to leukemia. I can see that. We already have the cure to leukemia. We just don't fucking use it.
Yes, my ex-wife, it's like, I want to put, our son to summer camp and like winter vacations come on, camp like that. I was like, have we actually talked to him about it? Like, what he thinks, what he wants to do, get his opinion, whether he decides something.
What a morbid subject to have to talk to our children about. But in this day and age, and for that matter, not even in this day and age, back when children used to die all the time, it is something we probably should talk to our children about. What do you want done? What are your wishes? Your closest loved ones should know what your wishes are if something should happen to you. Even if you're small and shouldn't have to think about that. But in our society, tragedy happens to even the youngest of people.
Crazy heard about Rhode Island recently.
And then these people are left not knowing what their kids would have wanted.
Yeah, I guess seize the day.
Yeah, definitely. This took a dark turn. We warned people. We were going into the dark tonight.
It might get dark, so I was like,
we're taking a deep dive into the darkness tonight, folks.
Darkness is sadness. Who do you think runs this country?
Oh, God. The top 1%. The rich people. It ain't even Donald Trump. He ain't running shit. He's just a fucking hand puppet with somebody's fist up his ass, yakking away.
Some people says Israel is what runs the world.
You think another country is running the whole world? Israel's running the whole. Maybe they're one of the oldest countries that. I mean, they've been around for a long fucking time. They must know what they're doing. I mean, they're constantly at war, but they're still here.
Versace believes Hitler is doing the world a favor, getting rid of the Jews, and because the evilness behind the country.
That's not. No.
It's one of those sayings.
I have friends that are Jews, and they are good people. You can't lump all people in with bad people just because they share a religious belief or skin color or a nationality. There are bad people in every group of people, and those people deserve whatever they get. But
First of all, when you talk about this subject, you feel like you're on a minefield right now. Like something.
I was like, whoa, we went. There's a difference between going dark and going anti-Semitism. It's like, whoa, brakes. Where's the brakes?
Because I've read several stories before. Stories or whatever you want to call them, that said like what Hitler wanted to do, he had the right idea, but the way he executed it, the way he went about it, like his like vision and everything, his why was legit, but the way he went about it was absolutely just like
nothing about Hitler was legit except for his love of animals and the things he did for animals while he was in rule. He did some like things for animals, but that didn't make him a better person because of the atrocities that he committed against mankind, his own species. That's still our own species. Those are still, we're all people. What needs to be done eventually is the cultural melting pot of just everybody just minding their own fucking business about religious beliefs. Let another person believe what they want to believe. It doesn't affect you.
Do you believe the Old Testament, when it was rewritten for the New Testament, stories and like odds and ends stuff were tweaked a little bit to make the New Testament be more like, God friendly, Jesus Christ friendly, all that stuff?
What do I think of the New Testament versus the Old Testament?
Yes. Do you believe it was tweaked? Do you believe it was like
to make it more digestible?
Yes.
Because the Old Testament was a vengeful, angry, furious God who wanted us all dead. I believe that in general, the Bible in general has been rewritten so many times, and that the language that it was originally written in was so ancient that we don't know. And there's so many books that have been ripped out, thrown away. We don't know the full truth of the Bible either.
Okay.
That's been politically manipulated for
Okay. That being said, how do we know the World War II with Hitler, the story behind him wasn't extremely manipulated?
Because people were there and witnessed it. And there are eyewitness accounts of what took place.
Just because one person says one thing?
Not one person. Hundreds of thousands.
I mean, you go with your country, man. I mean, it's like you have like fucking DJs going to Brazil, and it's like 100,000 people, like jumping up and down, partying, sexing it up and drinking. And it's like you go with the countrymen.
Well, yeah, when in Rome, people do. I mean, that's how we wound up here. Yeah, it's pretty well documented.
Yeah.
And going forward, anything that happens is even more well documented. And in time, it'll be revealed. In time, everything comes to the surface and is revealed.
Well, they say the Bible's well documented.
Perhaps. I believe that the Bible itself is a story of similar to Aesop's fables. It is a story. It is a storybook of these fabulous stories that are meant to guide us morally. There's a moral lesson in each story of the Bible that we are fucking missing. And instead we're looking for deeper meaning and what God's trying to tell us to do to each other. And the golden rule is the first rule in the Bible. So treat others as you would be treated. If you were standing in their shoes, how would you want to be treated? Even if their shoes were 6-inch stilettos and they had a big old swinging everything, treat them the same way you'd want to be treated. Right?
Yeah, it's just...
That's the golden rule that underlies the whole Bible.
I don't want to be like fucking pro Hitler, or but it's just like You talk about, he wiped out a Jewish colony. Yeah, but the United States dropped a bomb on fucking Hiroshima, and we didn't care.
And that was wrong. And
And
that was
we
wrong.
didn't care.
What we did was wrong. And
And the
we
history
can apologize politically for centuries. It doesn't make it right. It's still
Sorry to
wrong.
drop down, you guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, whoops. Our
Whoops.
bad. We fucked up. We fucked up bad doing that.
Growing
too.
up in U.S. history, they tell you about United States World War II, which the numbers showed that it was the Russians that took over Germany, and we just had our issues with Japan that was an ally to Germany, but we never really, butted heads with Germany. It was with the ally. And Pearl Harbor, they struck Pearl Harbor.
There's a lot of underlying political bullshit that was going on that underlies why we chose to attack Japan rather than to attack Germany. I think we probably had our hand in Germany's cookie jar still, and we didn't want to exactly make enemies of them. Meanwhile, Japan was attacking us. It was a response to Pearl Harbor. So after what, it was retaliation based.
But we cut off their supply from China for oil. China or Taiwan. It was we cut off their supply. And when they cut off their supply, they attacked Pearl Harbor. So
right.
It's like
it was retaliatory towards us as well, and they attacked a military base. So they didn't play it quite as dirty as we did. They attacked people that signed the dotted line that say, I'm willing to put my life on the line for this country, even if it means I'll die. They attacked. Japan refused to surrender, especially with how many people Japan had as prisoners of war. Yeah. We had our reasons. Just that doesn't justify what we did, but we did have our reasons.
Yeah, that's why I feel like
on the public surface, we had our reasons. Is that the whole reason? Probably not. In time, that'll all be revealed too. As the older people who instituted these atrocities in human history, as they die off, their stories become known to the public because there's nobody to protect anymore. That person's dead. So we have to wait for those old people who've committed these things to die off to know the truth of what they did. And sometimes they take it to the grave with them and nobody knows.
Sometimes we don't even know the truth.
Yeah, we'll never know. We'll never know. There's so much more we don't know than we do know. Even in today's modern age where you've got the world's wealth of knowledge at your fingertips in a cell phone, there's still so much more we don't know than that we do know. We are infinitely stupid.
Jeff Reed was right. He's right. There was 2 bombs that they dropped. This Hiroshima did the most damage.
Yeah. Nagasaki was the other one.
It's just like what you hear.
People who suffered there are many of those people that are still alive, and you say, you're given validity to the stories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but then you were questioning the stories of the Jews that survived the concentration camps. And I'm curious to find out why one witness testimony is more valid than the other. You told me I was here to bust balls.
These days, I don't believe what I hear. I do not believe. We hear about this person's list is on the Epstein's list. Yeah, but was he with kids? I don't care if he's on the list or not. Was he with kids?
There's ways to, if you have the time, there is jmail.com, and it makes the Epstein list an entire, it's like you're looking in Epstein's email.
Mm-hmm.
Like from his point of view. So you can search for anybody's name. You can search for what kind of material you're looking for. For example, I went in there and I searched names like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp comes up twice. One time he's asking who Johnny Depp's, not realtor, construction people were, because he was going to build a pool and he wanted to know who built Johnny Depp's pool. So it had nothing to do with children, but he was mentioned. And another time it was he was going to, he could give two fucks what Johnny Depp and some other actor think in an email. And that's the only two times that Johnny Depp's name came up. But that was just one example of, like, you can go in there and you can search and find out which people had something to do with children. Of course, they're probably not written as children in Epstein's files. They're probably written as ladies, girls, bitches, hoes, whatever he wanted to call them. You would have to search those terms.
I'm sure it's not that simple. Just my hose, my 8-year-old hose, my 10-year-old.
Are you coming tonight to see the hose? He didn't have respect for these women, these girls, these children. He didn't have any respect for them, or then these things wouldn't have happened. So who knows what references are in the Epstein files to search, to pull up. That would be somebody who has more investigative knowledge than I do. I don't want to know much of what's in the Epstein files. What I want is for lawyers to know what's in the Epstein files and to hold people accountable in the court of law for what's in the Epstein files. I want them to do their job and do the legwork. It's not my responsibility. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not getting paid to do this. I shouldn't have to read these horrific stories about the terrible things that happened to these girls and these boys on this island in order to get justice.
But as it was reported by Versace Stoner, I don't want to be the asshole if this information is wrong, but there's been a couple states that's been changing the age of consent underneath the radar. Missouri's one of them. So
Missouri already had a low age of consent. I believe their age of consent was already like 15. What did they lower it to?
I mean, but it's like there's enough states going to do it, so it's be like normalized. It would be like, okay, they had sex with the Epstein, but still.
Age of consent, though, only really applies to relationships between minors. So that a 15-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy can go do what they want to do without parents being like, I'm going to sue your family. That's where age of consent really comes into play. It does not apply to...
Let me ask you this scenario that we talked about the other day. If you were 15 years old, you lived in a very abusive household, you ran away to your boyfriend who's 31, who should the state or the court say the child be with? The boyfriend, who she says, I love you, but Johnny, whatever, who's 31, or you must go back to your parents?
Just a quick thing,
I
Vic.
think the kids should have to go.
I heard the last part. It's not age of consent. It's minimum sentencing for pedophiles. So they used to have a 1-year minimum sentence regardless, and now they've dropped that. And you got to wonder if they're going to drop all the sentences so that nobody gets arrested for all the bullshit in the Epstein list.
So fucked up. No, there should definitely be a mandatory minimum sentence.
Yeah, they dropped that mandatory minimum. So now they're looking at a case by case that, this could happen there and there.
Oh, that's terrible news.
I hate to hear that, these kinds of things get dragged into mental health. I hate when the two get crossed.
Yes, because that's, even if it was a mental health problem that led to, if there is a victim at the other end of your behavior, even if it was because of a mental health cause, I think you should still be held accountable for the behavior, because you should be held accountable for your own health. It's your health.
Yes.
You should have to take care of it.
Accountable, but
it's your responsibility to go and go to the doctor, get the medications, get the therapy.
If it's a mental health case.
Do the fucking work, because it's
But I
not
don't
okay
believe
to go
I don't
through
believe
life.
pedophilia is a mental health case. I believe
Yeah.
it's a sick perversion. There's something different. There's something wrong. It's a criminal perversion.
Absolutely.
I don't think a pill can solve the issue. I don't think therapy
We can
solve-
chemically castrate them, and that would be helpful.
Well, see,
We
that's the
used
thing. If
to.
you're but that stops the violent offender. But the person that isn't violent, that's just sitting home thinking about these things over and over, there's really no way that you can heal that person. That's their brain.
No. Yeah.
Nothing can change that.
They just need to be kept separate from society to keep society.
Well, yeah, you just don't bring them around children or allow children
There
to
should be a
with them.
pedophile island, and I know we had one.
We've
But it
had
should be
many of
where-
them, believe me.
It should be where we keep them, like Alcatraz, where we keep them exclusively.
Greenland. Greenland.
Well,
We vote Greenland.
We have that other place, don't we? We have Guantanamo Bay, isn't that what that's for?
No, they're using Guantanamo Bay to keep all of our immigrants. So
Well, at one point it was supposed to be for war prisoners.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's for,
Then you might as
anybody
well
who
just
has-
take it and turn it into a tourist camp, and at the end of the day, I mean, this is a country built on immigration. People don't understand that. This country, unless we were all Native American now, we're all immigrants.
Exactly.
Okay, this country is a melting pot, has always been, and that's been the appeal of it. It's
None
not
of us
been
have
this-
clean hands.
If you want to go to a culture that's just strictly or close to one culture, then go to a little European country. You will see
Go
exactly
to
how it is.
Japan, where most of the people are originally Japanese.
Well, yeah.
And they've been there for centuries. Go to
There's people that have been here for 50 or 60 years or 100 and a couple of 100 years, but not the same history as Japan, Europe, or other places where they've just been.
Exactly.
Because
The only
we
people
came
who
here.
have been here that deserve the respect of being actual natives to this land are, of course, the Native Americans.
I mean,
who
my
were here
wife
for
has
centuries before we
descendants.
came along,
But
and even they were immigrants.
My wife's done
at
a
some
lot of
point.
descendant work, and she's actually one of her descendants on her mom's side was like something Brewster, and he was one of the people that came on the Mayflower. So like their people came here like then. None of us were originated. I don't know anybody. I've never met anybody that said, my family was from America in, the 1200s or 800s or whenever.
Right.
My
family
family
was
lineage
here
is all
and part
European.
of the
We're all
Pawnee
we all-
tribe.
We've all come from Italy, Rome, and southern Italy. Like I traced that back, but like I've never met anybody, and that's the thing. You're not going to see it because
met a couple of Native Americans but they even then in their family
Well,
trees,
yes, I've met
they've
them.
it's diverged with white society or
Over the
black
years,
society
yes.
over the years.
I've
So
met some.
I've
met a few
never
Native
met a
Americans
pure
when I went
Native
to-
American who was like centuries down. All
Yes,
Native
and
American blood.
honestly, I think the Native American story is a really tragic story. If you look at it, a lot of Native Americans end up with substance abuse and alcohol problems. A lot of them are still not treated properly.
Right.
And a lot of their rights, they don't get it. They might get casino land, but they get mistreated in whole other ways that nobody ever sees.
Yes, absolutely. They do. They, right now they're dealing with ICE agents the same way that anybody else with brown skin is dealing with ICE agents. They're trying to deport Native Americans. They're
And
pulling
it's like,
Native
dude, that's
Americans.
their country. Like, you
It's like
realize that.
they're more here. They're more native to this country than you are.
I mean, at this point, African Americans are more native to this country than most people because they've been here for more centuries.
A lot of them, yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, it's
I always thought that was just weird because I mean I come from a family, like I said, immigration was quite popular. We had people that came on boats, and my family members came on boats. They went to Ellis Island. They got jobs. They worked. They did whatever. They integrated into society. Their friends and family came over as time got more and things got more. They worked. Like you
The
hear
only
about
family
immigration
history I
all the
know-
time. You hear about all these greats. The Irish immigration came in.
they were treated terribly too for
Everybody
a while.
was treated terribly. Jews, Italians, everybody. We were all treated terribly.
Everybody had to go through the ringer to get here, to be here.
But we
to,
got
to
to stay here.
establish, but
we got to stay here.
but we got to stay here. You're right. Yeah, exactly. You had to put in the legwork, but you got to stay.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that are putting in the lead work, and they're still getting shafted. They're still getting say, you know what, we don't want you here. You're
That's
going
the
home.
shit
And
part.
that's what bothers me. If you're out there and you got a family, you're working, you're doing this, you're putting into society,
Absolutely.
you
We
belong here
shouldn't
like
be-
anybody else.
Shouldn't be raiding schools and
Because
business places, and those are people who are actually contributing to society and they're doing their part. Go look
there's
for
citizens
criminals
out
where
there that don't
criminals
even do
lie.
that.
Go
There's
look for
citizens
criminals
that
where
sit there and
criminals
suck.
lie.
Well,
Go
there's
hunt the
citizens-
actual streets and like find actual criminals.
Well, even the criminals, there's citizens out there that are sitting, sucking the system or abusing privileges that because they know how to get around things. And they've been here their whole lives. They're not, foreign criminals. They're not some drug dealers from Venezuela.
You'd be
They're-
surprised how many of them are probably white.
They're almost all white.
Yeah. They're the ones that are draining that the public
And
works.
I hate to say it, but I mean, they call it white trash, and it seems to be that way, and
It's
people forget
applicable.
about that. But
There
it
are I was
exists.
telling Victor, there are shitty people in every group. You can take any random group of people and group them any way you want. You're gonna find shit in every pile.
Well, because it's not about the group; it's the people, individuals.
Just individual people. People. And so like there's this new thing. We're gonna touch on a touchy subject here. I don't know where you guys stand on this, so we're gonna see where we're gonna play a game. There's this new thing about the trans people being the biggest active shooters, the mass shooters, because there was a trans woman who recently shot up a hockey game.
Yep,
and she has a tattoo on her arm that's an SS tattoo, by the way. So she's one of those shit people in a group of people that is reflecting poorly on the wrong group of people.
Well, I'll be honest with you. See, I didn't know about the SS. Now, if you didn't have that tattoo, I could say, well, if you do history, there's been a lot of shootings, and unfortunately, it has been trans people. I don't know why. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything
They're
about that, but
angry,
it has.
just like anyone else.
The only thing I could guess is something with maybe overtaking a certain hormone or something, and it just triggering your mind to violence. I don't know though.
Have we studied that enough? Have we studied that enough to know
we haven't.
what we're doing?
The human society has not. That's a new thing. They haven't studied it yet. They haven't studied this part of it. It's not homosexuality. It's not transvestite. It's something totally new that's kind of spurred.
Relatively new because we haven't messed with people's hormones before.
But now you mentioned the SS tattoo, and that makes me think that the whole thing is just to throw people under the bus, because at the end of the day, a Nazi would not believe in that.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was really surprised to see the SS tattoo on this person because of her representation as a
And I mean, even if it was
person.
from their old life, let's say when he was a guy, right? That's something that you would get covered up. You would change.
You would
as
think so,
changed.
unless you still carry that belief. And that
Yes.
might be something that she carried, is that belief. The fact remains that the crime she committed probably has less association with her transgenderism than it does with her hatred in general.
But it was
She's a
towards her
hateful
own family, which
person.
was even worse.
Right.
She killed people in her own family.
Yeah.
Which
She
we've
was
kind of
she was an
seen
awful
recently.
human
There was that actor. His son killed him and his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
We're
said,
seeing that. We're
they're
seeing
just
a lot of
awful
family
human
violence.
beings. They're
Well, that's a terrible
they
person.
think they're justified in the violence because the violence is so.
Do they think that, or is their mind just so far gone?
Maybe it is.
And
There's a
SS
lot of
tattoo
pressure
was-
in the world right now. Right now, we're all under a lot of pressure. I think that
SS was the like
an SS tattoo.
It's the two
the
lightning
Nazi
bolts.
symbol.
It was
One of the
Hitler's
Nazi
like
symbols.
kill squad. It was like his number one death squad of
Yeah.
soldiers in World War II.
So the SS tattoo, if you see,
But you got to realize, like a
it
lot
looks
of
like
people,
two lightning bolts. next to each other,
the thing
and that is
this,
a Nazi symbol. So if
the
you
thing
see that
about
on
the
somebody,
Epstein list, though, that's causing a lot of stir is because with the Epstein list coming out, a lot of companies, and I've noticed this in a lot of big names, and a lot of this is all showing to be Jewish owned. And with that, there's now this whole global conspiracy about that too. Who really owns Washington? Is it Jewish people? Why do we always succumb to Israel? Why do
fair
we?
enough, but I'd like to point out that their religious beliefs have very little to do with why they're terrible people necessarily, because I know a lot of Jewish people who aren't terrible people. So it's not necessarily ingrained in their religious.
Oh, I don't think it's the people here. I think it's the people that are in Israel or whatever that
and they're money
are
hungry.
in power, though. That are in power.
Right.
These are
of course
people in power.
They're in power. They're rich.
I
It
mean,
probably
the
has more
stories
to do
I've
with the
heard of
fact that they're rich and they
the
can do whatever the
stories I've
fuck
heard
they
of-
want.
Well, but I mean, there's been cases of abuse on Palestine for years. You've heard it. You've seen it. It's been documented. Not all of Israel are nice people. They do bad things.
Right. They do.
But that's any country. There's been atrocities across the world everywhere. There's been human rights infringements with
point
every
at
country.
any spot on the map and you're gonna find some kind of dirty deed in their skeletons in their
But I
closet.
do see where that kind of went. And then I watched the Super Bowl and I seen for the first time in maybe I don't even know if I've ever seen one, but I seen an anti-Semitic video and I'm just like, are people really that anti-Jewish that we need to spend a Super Bowl commercial to talking about this? I thought we were kind of done with all that.
It's not over. Why is it illegal to burn an Israeli flag on the U.S. soil but not a U.S. flag?
I
did not know that it was illegal to burn the Israeli flag. I would say that would be impedance on our freedom of speech.
I know, but
because burning the American flag is protected by our freedom of speech, our freedom of expression. So burning any flag shouldn't be illegal.
But it is.
It is?
I think even burning the U.S. flag, I think it's in some blue law, it's illegal. I don't think they'll arrest.
Disrespectful because there are people who died for that flag, but it's not.
I know if you start burning, Islamic stuff, you can get hit with hate crimes.
Maybe that's why.
You get hit with a hate crime.
You get hit with a hate crime because it's a representation of
a religion rather than a country.
Rather than a country.
Our flag doesn't represent.
That's why.
We have Christians.
So that answers your question, Jeff.
Let's say we burn a pride flag. Does that mean we'll get arrested? Transgender
if you burn a pride flag?
You will. That's a hate crime. Yes, you will.
You'll get arrested for burning a pride flag?
Why?
Hate crime. It depends. If you were making a statement on your own, no. But if you're doing it in front of somebody to threaten them, then yes.
Well, that's like if you show a gun or a knife or anything. It's like that's.
But you know what we can do
today that involved.
You know what we can do?
But it's a TikTok.
We can fuck the Virgin Mary on a cross upside down while saying satanic mantras, and nobody will stop us. There is no. You can burn crosses all day and you'll get hit with a hate crime against black people, not Christianity.
I never understood why they burned crosses. Can you explain that to me?
I don't know. I'm not a Klansman.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't understand that whole idea.
That's good to know. I'm glad you're not a Klansman.
No, but I don't understand that ideology.
And not a Klansman. That's good.
As a Satanist, I never burned a cross either, though. I never seen the point of that either.
I've never burned a cross. I just would find it to be disrespectful to people who practice Christianity.
I just reverse it. I just pull it upside down, and it's better
that way. Upside down
but I think the cross
my
of Peter.
Own
but I think the cross of Peter looks better
expression.
anyways. I believe the cross was meant to be upside down. That's why the cross of Peter is aesthetically looking better than what Jesus was crucified on. But there's no crime against that. You can mock Christianity all day and you'll never get hit with a hate crime for some reason. That is true.
I believe that that's not right either. Truly, morally, that's not.
No, I mean, you could do things like heretic to the Mormons and you'll probably get an award because nobody wants door-to-door salesmen.
Yeah, It's a
But
hate crime.
again, I've known some Mormons, and they're not bad people.
Oh,
And
I've had them come and help me work in my garden. I've had conversations.
they can
I've
be
entertained with them.
wonderful people. They're wonderful.
I've even known a
people.
few
Just as-
Jehovah's Witnesses.
on the bright side of things, just like there are horrible people in every group of people that you could possibly conglomerate, there are great people in those groups too. Wonderful.
Well, I think it's just you got to sort it out, or you got to not let
Just
the
sort it out for
individuals.
yourself.
But you know, like you said, you got to not let the shit people make the whole group shit.
Yeah, you can't let the rotten apples ruin the whole batch. You know, like it's just not. It's not fair to the rest of us. Just like even. Okay, we're gonna pull the white card. Not all white people are bad. Like,
No.
not
Why
all
better
white
social
people
media?
are
They're awful. Really?
but we're villainized to some degree because a lot of us have done some pretty atrocious things, but that doesn't mean I did them.
A lot
Doesn't
of
mean
us, or
you
just
know.
our ancestors have.
Yeah, and it's like what do our ancestors like right now? It's all this like hate crime. We can't burn this. We can't do that. It's like okay, out of respect towards religion and sexuality, I have no intentions like any means to set a flag on fire.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
If I want
That's
to-
a lie, Vic. I'm gonna call bullshit.
If I
right now.
want to,
I will carry
I
one
think
upside
that-
down,
I think
but I
that you
will
could
not
burn
set it on
burn
fire.
the
But I will
limitless
carry it upside
flag
down
and the
because that's a
Blitzkrieg flag together.
symbol of the.
I think you would burn both of those flags if I said, Vic, let's make an episode.
No, I wouldn't participate in a flag burning,
Yeah.
but I would participate in a carrying one upside down.
It's wearing shit like that because
I'm
I have seen
You
down with
wouldn't.
the notion of
see,
anarchy.
people get
I
arrested.
would let
because
Vic.
There's footage on people's speed cameras. They have a pride flag, whatever, and some neighbor kid will go up to it, set it on fire. That's disrespectful. You can't fucking do that.
No,
Vic,
I'm
when
not.
it's summertime, when it's summer, I want you to burn your fucking limitless sweater.
That's more of a possibility than a pride flag.
I didn't say the pride flag. I said you would burn. I could see you burning a
Well, no,
limitless flag in a Blitzkrieg throw.
You just mentioned
burning
you
any
just-
flag.
you brought some flags up.
Right.
Would burn out for material.
Burn a Blitzkrieg Pro flag. You think calling them a clown was bad? Wait till you see what happens.
That's more of a possibility. That's on my adult right now.
We Are Wrestling's got a flag too. They got that big banner.
Gonna burn a wrestling flag.
Oh, we have many enemies. We'll just start
Gonna
burning
burn
their
a John
logos.
Cena towel.
John Cena's on the Epstein
we can't
list.
see him.
He's on the Epstein list though, and they couldn't see him on there either.
Can't see him on there. He's
He
written
was
in
on the
invisibly.
island one day, and then he's making a wish on the next. Fucking dude playing both sides. It's horrible, terrible.
I hope John Cena's not on the list in a bad way.
He's
I
probably
really do.
giving
Well-
kids the cancer. I hate to say it.
From what I understand about
I don't
Cena's
trust him,
personality,
The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, or any of the Hollywood guys.
From my understanding about Cena's personality, he'll be too much of a bore at Epstein's Island. He'll just be like very uptight. Very
You've never seen him in Ricky Stenicki then. If you watch Ricky Stenicki, he's a totally different character. He's on cocaine and shit. You'd see that would be, and he's on an island. Go watch that movie. Then tell me that you couldn't see John Cena
The
partying.
last time is now.
Last time now, yeah.
Oh
But
shit.
you've got a company that's literally on a whole. I mean, there's a whole
End
rabbit
of
hole right
times
there.
is
But I mean,
now.
the owner of it literally shit on a woman and then paid his way out of it. And then when he stopped paying, she put the
That's
lawsuit
for
out.
another episode when we go into the future when we're gonna do Zool After Dark, and we'll talk about weird kinks, and we'll talk about the chest shitters.
Well, no, the lady didn't want it. She didn't want it. And she made him pay millions of dollars for it, and he was paying it, and then he stopped paying, so she put out a lawsuit.
Well, yeah, you gotta pay for that shit. Ain't nobody doing that shit for free.
Like, out of $3 million of hush money, she got like $1 million.
She only ended up with $1 million, right?
Yep.
When is she? Isn't she coming on to do like a talk of why DNRs are no good, or
Yeah, I heard that.
or DNAs, whatever it is? I don't know.
I
DNR?
heard,
Do not resuscitate orders?
No, not the DNR. The other one, we have to sign off and freaking
what I just
you can't
NDA.
disclose anything. Yeah, NDA. There
NDA.
you go.
what do you call in a lawsuit? Going out back for abbreviation. What is it called?
Well, she got paid. Yeah, they all get paid.
Yeah, but they're going. Everything's going behind the scenes in June. Like someone's gonna decide what the fuck's.
Yeah,
June.
I mean, at the end of the day, even the ring.
We're
boys
talking
got
about
paid.
At least she got paid. I
consecutive
mean, Jeff
paid.
Tracy at least got paid, but 1 million out of 3 millions.
It's more than you
I
would get for
mean-
getting a. If somebody shit on you, you wouldn't even get $1 million. Neither would I.
Neither would I.
So I mean, it's $1 million more.
Do I get material off this though? Do I get material? Does there be a video going? I can like I always miss our OnlyFans page. Is there material
I
on
don't
it?
think anybody wants to see an 80-year-old
No.
guy taking a shit. You said you seen a guy taking a shit in the side of the road the other day. Was it?
That's fucking awful.
For free, man. You didn't even have to pay for that shit. You got that shit show for
Look
free.
Canal Street. I'm like
You
trying to
should
go
have went
down
over there and paid the man.
Canal Street, which is one of the major roads in Brattleboro. I see this guy. At first I'm like, man, that must be coal in his butt. It's just like it's like what? He's shitting, and I didn't see him at the shit actually come out, but I just see fucking like things like that will actually look like shit. So right away I called Versace. I was like, dude, I saw someone shit on the side of the road. I think
When you
And I mean,
gotta
I know
go,
you guys
man,
haven't
you
got
gotta
to
go.
modern plumbing. I mean, I know that part of Vermont don't got modern plumbing yet, but I mean, Jesus Christ.
this is Brattleboro, and people wonder why do you want to leave
When-
Brattleboro, Victor?
Vic gets up to go to the bathroom, he actually goes to the outhouse, huh?
They don't even have. They have those wooden outhouses. It was a cobblestone road. Wasn't even paved yet, and the guy's shitting on it. It's horrible.
Oh,
Terrible.
peasants.
I was just
You
like,
should have thrown some toilet paper or something out the window.
it was by the dispensary. My dispensary is in everything. It was just
That's even worse. Then you have to go buy weed and step through shit.
That would piss me off if I stepped in human shit on my way to get my weed.
I would be pissed too. I don't even. I would throw my shoes away
I would
probably
be
at that
so
point.
mad.
I would leave my shoes wherever they were. I wouldn't even want to wash it.
No, those are just ruined shoes. You step in dog shit, that's one thing. You step in human shit, that's a whole nother thing.
It depends, Jeff. If you're out
Right,
camping
right.
in the woods and shit, it doesn't really
Right,
matter. But
right.
on the street,
Those are camping shoes, though, and those don't come in the house.
I'm throwing lightweight flags. This is NFL's official flags. Lightweight. And Versace would back me up on this. I have an autistic daughter that plays with her own feces for the sensory stuff. So like when people say like, "Oh shit's disgusting," it's like I've had like even recording. We did afternoon recordings. I cleaned her up, put her in a tub. Like as we're recording, very cool, very calm, and her shitty hands are smacking.
he would leave like I had to leave and just go and do whatever he had to do. And I
I've
would
worked
just hold
with
the
people with
combo.
special needs who, that's a whole different thing, though.
But when
That's
you
not
get used to it,
somebody
you
pooping
kind
on
of-
the side of the road.
Yeah,
That guy's able to drive. He's old
Well,
enough.
yeah, and it's
to
also
hold
not an
his
80-year-old
poop.
man. I mean, at some point, if you have kids, you change diapers, but you don't necessarily change an old guy on the side of the road.
No,
You
it's,
might.
it's just like kind of like this.
Well, depending on the job, yes, but
Yeah, you might change an old guy on the side of the road, but he's not usually taking an active dump on the side of the road. He's usually like in a diaper and you're fixing him up in the back of a van.
but yeah, something
I've worked
like
with
that.
people with special needs, and there's means to when they gotta go, they go, and
Yeah,
you
that's
gotta.
Yeah, but I don't think in that case the guy with special needs, because I think if he had to go, he would just shit himself. He wouldn't actually go through the whole point of pulling his pants down, squatting, and all of that.
Right,
Because believe
and
it
he's
or not,
driving.
the
He's
thing is,
driving.
if-
He's on the side of the road. Was he by a vehicle?
I don't
No.
know, but because the thing is, if you shit
You didn't
yourself,
look.
it's okay to shit yourself. It's not against the law.
Exactly,
It's not
Jeff.
against the law to shit yourself, but if you take your pants down to shit, it is. You can become a level 1 sex offender.
Yes. Yep. So you can. That's word of advice to our.
The word
our
of advice:
watchers.
if you got to shit yourself and just go with it.
Yes,
Jesus,
you're
what's
better
the
off
kid?
legally and morally just shitting yourself than to expose your butthole to the world to shit outside.
And I mean, if
Even
it's a
though-
hard shit, just kind of like,
Jeff
fucking
Reed's
have
telling
it
us
come
you don't
through
know
the
what you're
pants.
missing until you're shitting outside.
well, it's true if you're on like a camping trip. That's what I was saying. But on the side of the road, it's a little awkward. You got people walking,
Look, I ain't missing nothing to not shit outside. I go camping, but I like going camping in places that have the porta potty. I don't like to shit
Yeah, I
outside.
think I would rather shit outside than use a porta potty. I don't a potty where multiple people have communally shit. I think it's just fucked up.
It's socially normal.
It's not socially normal, okay? I like my to be honest with you, I like my shit segregated, okay? I want different people's shits in different septic systems. I don't like it all combined. That's too
I
much
want my
shit.
own shit bucket.
Yes. I want my own.
own
Then. I'll bring
personal
my own
shit
porta
bucket.
potty. I'll rent my own.
I've gone camping where you put one of those little toilet seat things on like a Home Depot bucket, and you go behind a bush with one of those.
Oh,
and
you bring a
do your
commode.
business back
That's
there.
nothing wrong
Yeah,
with bringing a commode.
I've done that, but I did
I do
not
nursing,
enjoy
I can
it.
bring
I
a
was
commode.
terrified that someone would walk around the corner on the trail or something and be like,
Real
"What
fast
you doing?"
story. Real fast story because we're almost at the 2-hour mark. When I was living in Connecticut, this is going back 20 years ago, it was my uncle and his roommate who was like a big time drunk. He drank Granddaddy whiskey. If you don't know what Granddaddy whiskey is, it's a fucking horrible cheap whiskey. It will get you totally fucked up. But
Basically, moonshine.
and he always like would blow a cigarette smoke in my dog's face or stomp his feet like next to it, and my dog would get scared, you know. And one day I was like, told my uncle, he said, "You know what? If he keeps this shit up, I swear to God, I'm gonna take a shit in this back of his pickup truck." And my uncle was like, "No fucking way. You would not never do that. You know, you're too good at a person like that." And one day he did it fucking again. They went off and they're drinking at the bar, and I fucking went back because he had his car and his work pickup truck because he was a construction worker. I went back of his pickup truck and just fucking like let one out.
Oh my!
I
And
did
then
it.
my
You've
uncle
never
comes home.
heard it.
My uncle comes home, and I just like, dude, I did it. It's like
It was Jeff Reed that you saw shitting on the side of the road. He keeps a roll of toilet paper in his glove box just in case.
Just in
yeah,
case.
that worked.
I'll be
Yes,
honest,
ma'am.
I almost did. I threatened to. There was a lady that kept walking her dog every month. She would always shit in my yard and like she wouldn't clean it up. And if it's one thing you're gonna do is to clean up. So I finally said to her one day, I was like, "Look, if you don't start cleaning up, I'm gonna walk to your house and take a shit in your lawn." And the next day she had her little fucking blue bags with her.
So I've never taken a poop anywhere that is inappropriate to take a poop, but I have. I had a neighbor who pissed me off, and before I moved, I took a super soaker with the deer urine that you use for hunting to attract deer.
Yeah.
And I sprayed it from my yard because he had a camera, so I wasn't going to walk over there. I sprayed it from my yard into the vents at the bottom of his windshield.
Oh. And once you turn on the air, boom, that smell's just coming in.
I hope he hit a deer. He pissed me off so bad.
Going back to my story real fast. So I tell my uncle, you know, I did it. So he goes in the back to pick up the truck.
I hear you, Amanda. I don't even like podcasts myself.
He dry heaves, and he's like, "I saw nothing." And the next day, guy he pulls in with his with the worker he had, and then you see the back is just like pointing at it, you know. It's like, you know, and he's like gets all like pissed off, and it goes right to my fucking uncle. It's like, "Your nephew took a shit in the back of my truck," and my uncle did back me up. He's just like, "Did you see him do it?" He's like,
Did you see him do it? Did you videotape it? Do you have
See,
evidence?
this was the beauty before.
What
Ring
was in the
cameras
shit?
And all of that. Nobody had any video.
No,
We could get by with so much more when we were younger because people didn't have a
because
camera
now
on them to be taping what you be doing and
Not
sharing.
even that,
the whole-
your doorbells are now taking video.
I know. I just watched a show today that was all about doorbell videos.
Yeah, it's like basically a mass market just so they can see what's going on. That's another conspiracy there.
It's what?
Another conspiracy. So those like little Amazon doorbells that videotape, it's all just so Amazon can get a view of streets. You can see almost the whole street. It's like the whole Pokemon Go. They basically wanted people to go around and take videos and footage of certain places for them for their whatever doings. So they had kids play a game.
It's one way to get cheap labor.
It is. But if you've ever seen, like, it's not much different than what what Google does. They just send somebody with the car and a camera on the top of the car, and they just drive
seen
from
that.
here to California and then back, and it just videotapes everything.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are cool. The Google view, the Google
I like
world.
Google Maps. You can like zoom in and see fucked up shit that happened at that time. There's so many crazy things out there. I've seen myself
As they
on
were
there, like,
driving by,
walking.
and that guy was shitting in his front yard.
Yes. Like, you might be able to go in a year, and they might have Google Maps at the time that the guy's shitting on the side of the road, and you might be able to capture that.
So many people walked off cliffs playing Pokemon.
They did. They did. They just fucking boom, like lemmings. They just kept going. They had no stop.
We must control the population.
Look,
If they
there's
Pokemon Go.
Darwin Awards for these people. There's Darwin Awards.
Well, I mean,
so our word of advice that we're closing with tonight would be, don't shit where people can see you, and don't walk off a cliff playing games on your cell phone.
but just in case, keep TP with you, in case you need it for your bunghole.
In case you need it for your butthole because it's an emergency. But it's better legally and morally
to shit yourself.
That's what we're closing with. Better legally and morally to shit yourself.
Well, thank you, everybody. I'm glad people are entertained. I'm glad there's that many people liking shit. Now at least you know another kink for your side where you can go.
Right.
Get down and dirty, right into it.
Well, we're gonna be in the future. We're gonna be doing a new show after this show that's going to be called Zool After Dark. Once we get the logo drawn up and get it all organized, and that show will be about people's kinks. So make sure you stay tuned after the show for the next show in the near future. We'll be letting you know about that and giving you updates in the near future. It's coming. It's coming for you. And we're going to talk about weird kinks, including people who like to shit themselves, maybe. We'll revisit this topic. Jeff, do you want to be a guest on the show and you can talk about it?
Pooping ain't easy. You're damn right. Pooping ain't easy. Especially if you like cheese pizza. Pooping ain't easy at all. Fucking hard.
All right, guys.
All right,
Have
we're
a
out.
good night.
Yeah, goodbye. Good night. See everyone later. Next week.
Deuces.
Deuces.